They're looking at a little bit of heads I win, tails I win. If their job is to go build market share and grab agents, they now have two quite different solutions.
Why isn't it the other way around? Why isn't REMAX buying Real and why is Real buying REMAX?
Yeah, that's a great point. And I want to be really clear, this is not a merger. A merger would be, we blend the two together, we have a common name and run it as one. Mm-hmm. This is more kind of what Compass did with Anywhere. They bought the Anywhere brands, which is Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's, Century 21, ERA, Corcoran, but are running them as individual, unique companies.
There's kind of a lot to talk about, especially for you. There's a lot of different changes. I know you're asking me about the babies and stuff. We're at number 5.
Gosh, it's the greatest.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I wish I had one more.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Everybody says that that has had kids. They're like, yeah, I wish I would have had another one. I wish I wouldn't have stopped.
Yeah, I look at Jake Williams. I think they've got 4, right? So some young people are doing it, and too many are delaying too long to get married in the first place, and then maybe we'll have one.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand, but when I grew up, all the Catholic families and the Mormon families that have 8, 10, 12. Yeah. I knew the Desitels. It was a Catholic family, and she gave birth to 10 kids, mostly boys. Played baseball with one of them in Little League, and it was kind of cool.
I think it's the best, man, because, look, it can either be the best thing or the worst thing.
Yeah.
Because if you're not present, then it's the worst thing, obviously. Yeah. And I think because, I don't know, a lot of people in my generation kind of lived the roughness of dad's not being there, just a lot of issues in the home. I think I'm seeing a lot more men my age just trying to be the best fathers that they can. It's so encouraging.
That is great, yeah. Hey, kids need their fathers. They need their mothers too, but we both have that role. It's designed so wonderfully. We both provide something to that child growing up and bringing them to fruition as a young adult.
Yeah. Now it's like the culture. Now it's like the thing you do,
Yeah.
And I don't know how it was in your generation, but I lived it. It wasn't like that, at least from my perspective.
Well, my parents' generation, father,
that's different.
The father was the role. He was really authoritarian.
Okay.
And he was the bread earner,
sure.
and the mom was the homemaker, and there was a little bit of aloofness, and a lot of people. I grew up with a father that was loving. He had his own challenges and stuff, but I knew a lot of kids that never hugged their father or never had their father say, "I love you."
And then what about your generation? What do you know?
So my generation, what we took a little bit of was we wanted to be successful, and we wanted to be more successful than our parents. And what our parents was trying to do is really push education and get us into college. I think my generation really jumped the amount of people that went to college beyond high school than my parents' generation. That was a big thing. I want you to get a college education, have a better life than I had. And we go to my grandparents, and that's the Depression era, and they had it really rough. So our parents, my parents' generation, they grew up as kids in the Depression, so they knew poverty. I mean, middle class was poor, and so they wanted, so they carried that forward to us. And I think our generation then kind of, so we end up being a little more touchy-feely with our kids. Mm-hmm. And then I think in some ways we just became their friend too much. And that's, it's a fine line because you want to be friendly to your kids, but you also have to teach them right and wrong. And you are the authority, and you have your mission first is to guide them to be good humans. So be careful of just being their friend, and go out and have fun, do whatever you want to do. Morals, who cares? Just have a great time.
Figure them out.
Yeah. So
Yeah. But then now we're what you're saying is, which is so true, is now we're seeing the results of what that looks like.
Right.
I was just a part of a parenting, we like a bunch of us, young marriages that are raising our kids and have like 3-year-olds to 12-year-olds. We kind of got together and we were kind of doing this parenting thing. And it was really cool what we learned. And the first couple of years, you kind of are the authoritative figure, like, hey, what I say goes. Yeah. I have to tell you what to do. I'm going to give you some options, but for the most part.
But limited, yeah. And then
very limited.
And over that time, it's evolving.
And then, yes, and that's the thing. Then I forgot the ages. I have it in my notes, but then after, I think it's 0 to something. And then once it gets to like 8 to 12, you're teaching them the why of why you do things. And anyways, my point is that you go through this, it's like a 3-stage process to then finally, then you can become their friend once they're, once they're a little bit older. So like 18, 20 something year old, now you kind of, the relationship turns more into a friendship. And it's pretty cool because you're very similar. Like your son's really good friends with you, right? As far as I see.
Yeah. I mean, we've had our ebbs and flows, but the best time of my life, early when they were little, I was kind of it's kind of funny. Back then, it was a badge of honor if you go, I only get 5 hours of sleep a night. And then now everybody knows, no, get your sleep, dude. and back then, I work till 10 o'clock every night. I'm a work-a-thon, marathon worker. And no, man. So I miss a little bit of my kids when they were little. Sometimes miss dinner and then back out and don't put them to bed. Always got up with them and got them to school, got them going, so that was good. But it was when my son got to be about 4 years old and then into baseball age, and I coached him for about 10 years in all the sports. I was a manager for his Little League team, coached him in basketball and football, and Stephanie did a little bit of sports. And we got really, really close, but it still was, I was the boss. And it's funny, the evolution of a kid, too, because in those days, they look up to you and they're God, Dad, he's the greatest. He's the greatest. And then they become, somewhere in their teen years, they decide, Dad doesn't know anything. And then it comes full circle, and later you go, Mom was right, Dad was right.
The only pushback I have for you is, it's not that my dad doesn't know everything. It's that, look, I am so blessed right now, Keith. I have a 12-year-old in the house, and it's like all of a sudden we have someone in the house that knows all the secrets to the world. Like all of life's problems are found in him, or all of life's solutions. Wow. And so it's not that I don't know anything. Yeah. It's that he knows everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Funny. And the funny thing is, they have so much access to information now. He might know everything.
He's probably right. He doesn't, but Alexa does.
Yeah. Our 25-year-old, Chris's youngest, he's still living with us, and in school will be a radiology technician, doing great. I'm really proud of him. But he'll have an opinion on virtually everything. And sometimes I'm like, you have no life experience. How do you have an opinion on that? You haven't even lived it. And then, oddly enough, almost every time he's right.
He's right. It's a different world, but everything is changing, and what one generation valued, the next generation's like, well, we don't put so much emphasis on that anymore. And so I think it's good and it's bad, right? I think it's good and it's bad because you don't want to lose the fundamental things that kept the secret sauce of it. Yeah. But at the same time, you don't want to stay stagnant and not adapt to different changes, such as technological changes.
Right.
So it's there's tension there, but that's why we got to have wisdom as we go. But actually, I think that's very fitting to what I wanted to sit down and talk to you about today, because you guys broke the internet, man. All of a sudden, I logged on this week.
Yeah.
Real bot REMAX. And every single post was about that.
Yeah.
So as someone that just speak to me as someone that has no idea about this merger or about this buying and about how that affects and what the changes are. What is this all about?
Yeah, glad to. And, I don't have all the answers yet, but it's interesting that I was in Georgia visiting Derek and the grandkids, and was driving to the airport. It's funny, I left. I had a rental car, and I had a kid seat in there for the 6-year-old. So Derek met me over the hotel, gave it to him, gave him a big hug, and we were talking business. As you know, he does recruiting for me. And so I said, you know what, keep establishing those relationships. You don't know when an opportunity will come or we'll get some momentum. I'm literally driving to the airport because of the time change. It's 7:30, 7:45 there or something. And email came out from Eric Carlson, the CEO of REMAX, at 4:41 Pacific time. And Derek discovered it on a post from the executive vice president, Travis Saxon, on Facebook. It was, Dad, you're not going to believe it. Real bought REMAX. I go, what? I didn't see that coming. I go, wait, vet it. Go check it all out here. I'll wait while you're checking out. And he's looking at different places. He goes, it's real, Dad. It's real. All right. It was a head scratcher. Because here's, for those who don't really know, Real is a virtual company. There's a few in this space. EXP is the well-known one who was kind of first. And then Real, then there's some others after, LPT and others. They have an aspect about them that's different than traditional real estate. They don't have office space, local offices. They don't have local support. They do everything virtually. It's cloud-based. They're relying on software and AI tools and a lot of good things. They have a multi-level marketing kind of aspect to them as well. And then REMAX is more of a traditional, it's franchise-based. It's not even company-owned stores. Many people don't know this, but the parent company of REMAX, founded in 1973 by Dave and Gail Lineker, they own no real estate companies. They're a franchisor. They provide franchisees like me a lot of value. We have an ad fund where they place ads. They just now sponsoring Indy cars. They have 2 Indy cars. We had the good fortune of being their guest and go and watch the Indy car race down in Long Beach. That was a lot of fun. But anyway, so one hand, Real, it's a virtual company buying REMAX, who's a global company but franchised with local offices, with local support. From transaction managers to administrators to managers to all of those things. We have an attorney. They're not the same. If they try to do a true merger, it's going to be messy. So I'm like, what does this mean? I mean, I do have an enforceable franchise, so they can't just literally rip that up. It's like being a tenant and someone buys your house that you're renting. You still have that lease. Well, it's the same kind of thing. So here comes discovery. Now, as you would know, I'm getting barrage of text calls and things. Well, I'm on the airplane, but I got the Wi-Fi, so I can't take calls, but I'm texting, I'm emailing, I'm researching as much as I can. I'm sending emails to people in the know that I think. I'm getting things from across the country, people I know in and out of the industry. And there's a bunch of people jumping to conclusions, many of which aren't good. So I said, calm down, we'll figure it out. We called for our typical, our usual weekly office meeting, which is at 9 a.m. Every Tuesday, and it's virtual and in person, Zoom hybrid. So we meet in the Northridge office, and then we beam it out to all our agents wherever they may be. So we took an hour there. I did a bunch of information I gathered, and so here's where we are at this point. I also know somebody very close to me that had a one-on-one Zoom with Tamir Poleg, who is the CEO and the founder of Real. Very smart guy. He was actually in Tel Aviv and took the call and was able to gather a little bit of this information. And what I drew from that and all my other things is that they're looking at a little bit of heads I win, tails I win. And what I mean by that is if their job is to go build market share and grab agents, they now have 2 quite different solutions. For someone who wants to build a little team and a downline and wants to coach up this team and maybe self-starter and don't see any power of brand and they don't really care, maybe Real's the right way to go. For those that want access to some different kind of technology and have the global reach and the brand awareness and want local support like me, our attorney Jonathan and all the rest, then now they've got REMAX. They paid $880 million. He had to raise some money, Apollo and their investment bank, which I think was Merrill Lynch, might have been JP Morgan. They raised $550 million to put this deal together. And REMAX, like all the real estate companies, the Anywhere brands that were bought by Compass were all losing money. Nobody's really making money from the parent company position in this particular market. And REMAX did. They made $8 million last year, but they bought it for $880 million. So that's 100 times profit. So there's a play there, right? They got to be thinking something. Mm-hmm. And I understand that Tamir feels honored that REMAX chose them to buy them out. And I want to be really clear, this is not a merger. A merger would be, we blend the two together, we have a common name and run it as one. Mm-hmm. This is more kind of what Compass did with Anywhere. They bought the Anywhere brands, which is Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's, mm-hmm. Century 21, ERA, Corcoran, a few others, but are running them as individual, unique companies. In a related field, in the title insurance business, Fidelity National Title, a number of years ago, started buying other title companies. They bought Chicago Title, Lawyers Title, Tycor, and a few others, and did much the same thing. Guess what? Many, many years later, more than a decade, all those brands still exist. So the genius behind that for Bill Foley, the founder of Fidelity, is, hey, you want to use Chicago? Great. You want to use Fidelity? Great. You want to use, just don't use First American or something else. Use one of our family. Mm-hmm. So I think back to our situation with this now called Real REMAX Group, mm-hmm. common ownership by Real, but separate companies. And for me, as a broker owner and a franchisee, I think, first of all, I can't control it. I can't undo it. I got to bind. I can't just say, okay, forget it. I'm going to be Keith Myers Real Estate. Oh, that would be great. Anyway,
there's the legacy there.
Yeah, but we're going to do this, and what we're being told is that we're going to get a little access to some of their technology. It's going to make us a little more nimble, mm-hmm. better effective. It's all about it. Can we provide better service to the consumer through this transaction? Maybe so. We can add on to what has developed. We've developed over the last year with new leadership at REMAX some real good technology solutions in the field of CRMs and marketing as a service and some really cool stuff. But now we have something else layered in there. And the reason why it's interesting to me is by design, by necessity, they had to establish these cloud-based ways to communicate and deliver information. Hey, you sell a house in Encino, California, and you want to get paid as the agent when it closes. Well, does the check have to be mailed to Miami where the headquarters of Real is, and then they snail mail a check back? No, they've come up with solutions that mm-hmm. have fixed mm-hmm. that. So mm-hmm. We're excited about what the possibilities might be, and I think it's going to be a positive. Yeah.
When I think REMAX, and we're here in Southern California, when I think REMAX, I think Keith. I mean, you're the. I know there are other REMAX, right. like other offices, but you're the REMAX here,
right? Yeah.
It's you, and then it's the other Keith. A little bit down, further down,
Keith
up north,
up in Sacramento,
up north, yeah.
We have the good fortune of having some really good, great agents. We have the number one agent in the world for REMAX,
That's what
Jordan
I'm saying.
Cohen. We have some really good folks, and we're the largest REMAX in Southern California.
Right. So there's the Northern Keith, and then there's the Southern Keith.
Yeah.
But not only are you the local REMAX, but within this local REMAX, like exactly what you just said, there's the number one REMAX agent in not just here locally, but in all of the world.
Right.
So for me, it's I'm so curious to see how you were processing all of this. First thing I notice is, wow, you didn't know about it until we all did.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know about it. My rep with REMAX, the one I have most of my interaction with, she's been there 20 years. She didn't know about it. Her boss didn't know about it. Everybody was really shocked about it. I have my network. We have built something called Gold Nation, which includes Keith up there. So it's an amalgamation with some common ownership of REMAX franchises now in 8 Western states. All of us, some of which are, Chad Oxner, the newest one in Colorado and Wyoming. He's a legacy brand. His dad started it way back in one of the early franchisers. He's in Denver area. Didn't know about it. Nobody really knew. I mean, the board of directors knew. The board of directors for Real knew, and a couple key people, I'm sure, knew about it.
You think that's by design?
So, I think so. I think that Eric Carlson comes from corporate America. He was the CEO of Dish Network before he came here, and I think he came here with an idea how to maximize the value of REMAX for Dave Lineker, the founder, who's still the largest shareholder of REMAX. But he and Gail are both 80 years old, and we all have an end date. So I think there was some interest for them to do that, but they didn't want to hand us off to somebody that wouldn't be good for our agents. Because one thing I'll say about Dave is they always thought like an agent, and he built a company that was one of the first that was truly agent-centric. By its design from the very beginning, it was, by top producers, for top producers, and they, he still, was active until right now. He's still active, involved with the process. But
do you think there are, because the way I see it, let's put agents in 2 categories. Let's put one category, newer, not so experienced agents that are wanting to create a career and great businesses as realtors. Mm-hmm. And then in the other bucket, you have seasoned realtors,
right,
been doing it 30 years, 40 years, 20 years. They already know what they're doing. How does that help this? How does this help both of these groups?
Yeah. I actually think in these 2 companies, Real and REMAX, I don't think either one really specializes in working with brand new licensees. I know REMAX has always been designed to work with agents been in the business 3 to 5 years and maybe looking to go to the next level. They've proven themselves. They've sold some real estate. They're treating it as a career. They're not dabbling in it and doing it part-time, which, there's a lot of people that do that. And there's a place for that, I guess. I really like the professional agent. And I think by the design of how Real is, without any local support and without offices, it makes it a little more difficult. However, as a Real agent, you're building, in effect, your own little mini brokerage under that. So if you have a really strong, experienced agent or broker that is at Real, they take on that task of training up new people.
But then don't you feel like that's kind of, you're splitting your focus, because now you're not necessarily being a realtor, you're not really building your realtor brand, you're building kind of more of a other agents, kind of like a brokerage, which is cool, because now you're saying, hey, so then clarity question for you. So does that mean that, for example, Jordan can now, if he wanted to, which I'm pretty sure he doesn't, can start building his own downline? Is that something that...
No, that's a great question. And the answer to that is no, because we're still REMAX and we don't have that model. So he could go to Real. He could quit me. And by the way, we've had, as you would know, many conversations. And he's totally on board and he's not going anywhere. But no, he can't. And
I see.
It's a funny thing about teams too is it's really a delicate thing, because what makes agents great, for example, Jordan, he's never built a team because his QC, his quality control,
focused,
is Jordan.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to be in the position where now I got to oversee other agents. And I've seen so many people that think team is the way to go. And then what makes them great is their sales ability in the field, interacting face to face. But now their time is watered down. Myself included. I made the decision in 1996 when I joined Todd Olson as my partner then, that I was going to start bifurcating my brain and working on management and recruiting and growth, in addition to being a top producing real estate agent. And that evolved over time, where while I still do sell some real estate, I don't think you can lead a company if you don't know what you're doing and what you're leading them to.
Yeah.
So I do that. But my wife, Chris, has taken over our sales team for all intents and purposes, and freed me up, because it's tough to do
100%.
2 full-time jobs.
Split your focuses. Yeah.
Right? And so that's what happens to a team.
Yeah.
That it sounds all sexy and good. I'm going to build this big team. And first of all, you get someone on your team.
Yeah.
And if they're really good, they're going to leave you and go on their own, because they're going to make more money.
Well, and I also think there's a difference though between building a team and also building your business. So let me explain it like this. The best version I've seen that. Okay, so Jordan's version, his business model, it's so great, and I think it works really well. Also because of the price point that he sells.
Yeah.
And these the homes that he sells, the clients that he has, they have very refined, specific tastes, and so to get somebody to be able to trust. Will do it exactly like him. It's very difficult to do.
Right.
And it'll take a while.
Right.
So by the time he gets there, it might destroy his brand. You know, it might really negatively impact his brand. Who I have seen do that very well is Stephanie Vitaco.
Yeah.
What she does is she has a team, but not in the team where it's like, a buyer's agents and that kind of team. She has a team within her organization that takes care of the different tasks. One team member is taking care of coordinating between all the different showings. Another team member is doing a lot of is very negotiation heavy. Another person in her team does different things, where she will focus on listing presentations. She will not hand that off.
Right.
She'll probably be in like 300 listing presentations, 200 listing presentations throughout the year.
Correct.
And that's her entire focus.
That's her. And that's what makes sense. And that's what she should do. And so she, a lot of admiration for Stephanie. I've known her since the day she got into real estate. And it's amazing what she's done. But yeah, she's learned how to do it. And I'm sure, she didn't create a team for many years. And then she's refined it over time. And I'm sure she's made missteps. But what you're describing, in effect, Jordan has a little bit of that. So he does have a couple assistants that are behind the scenes to take care of it. He says, I don't even know how to turn the computer on.
Yeah.
He doesn't run comps. He doesn't fill out offers. He dictates what's in them. But yeah, he's either showing high-end clients or he's showing those homes that he's listed, or he's on a listing appointment.
Of course.
So, and it can be very successful, but it's not as easy as it looks. It's kind of like the next level is owning a brokerage. Brokerages are very, it's evolved. When I got in, it was broker-centric. The brokers had the control. They were the ones that ran classified ads. They would drive the business to the agent. So the splits were 50-50 or 60-40. And the consumer needed that company and really saw value in that local company. Then along the line, it evolved where now the agents had to do a lot more of their lead gen. Ads weren't pulling. Newspaper ads were being replaced by other methods of lead gen. And then the advent of IDX and other ways that we lost this captured gatekeeper mentality of all the information, where the consumer needed us merely for that because they didn't know it was on the market. Well, now they do. It's all out there. So now it's gone all the way to from agent-centric, broker-centric to agent-centric to consumer-centric. And so but the model, the agents have done a better job of negotiating with us, the broker owner, than the other way around, because it's a competitive environment. There's a lot of options for agents. Which I know we're all over the place. I got to say something about that.
So okay, go ahead.
So the real estate brokerage system, for people don't know, people watching this probably know, but the agents aren't my employees. They're independent contractors. And who in their right mind would own a business that your asset, the only asset you have, is not your bricks and mortar. It's these hardworking independent contractors that, like that, they're free agents. They could leave today. I could go up to Porter Ranch office, which I'm going to do after this, and find out 12 people left today. But that stuff's kind of crazy making. You can't worry about that. You need to do the work as a broker owner to every day show your agents that you care and you're looking for a better way and you got their back.
So you're pretty much saying you need to continue to develop and grow as a leader.
Yeah, for sure. I'm X number of years on this earth, a lot of number of years, and I continue to have a learning mentality and be curious about things. And vis-a-vis this transaction of discovering Real buying REMAX, when I got to the airport and turned in my rental car, I got in as soon as I could in the terminal. I crafted an email that went out to everybody explaining what I heard, because they're going to hear it from somebody. I'd rather them hear it from me. I told them what it's not. I'm not going away. I haven't been bought out. I'm here with you. Let's gather information. Don't panic. We're going to find out what this is together. I didn't know before, but I promise you I will. And then by the time I got there, Wi-Fi in the airplane, I'm checking things out, as I mentioned. So I had more information. So late in the day, I did a follow-up and made sure everybody knew we were going to discuss it on Tuesday morning, which we did. And I think that it calmed down over the next few days. I talked to someone today when I was in Westlake office before coming here, and he must not have been paying attention because he had it all wrong, totally wrong. So there's going to be some of that
Sure.
Despite your best try, communication to reach all 300 agents and staff and all that, it takes some time. It takes multiple voices. I've charged, I've had meetings with my leadership team so that we're all on the same page, and I answer their questions. They fill in where they're hearing. They're hearing from the outside. Anyway, so we've really done a good job, and I'm real thankful that, not at least as we're sitting here right now, everybody's hanging in there, and we're kind of excited to go through this together and see how we can now better serve the consumer, having a few more tools. We went from nearly 150,000 worldwide agents at REMAX to adding about 34,000 more. So now we're 180. We got a larger referral base now, having access, maybe doing some things in a referral mix with.
Going back to my question that I had asked you, Keith.
Yeah.
The bucket you're saying over here for the newer agents, and then the bucket with the more experienced agents. What are like the pros and cons with this whole thing? How are you processing this from that standpoint?
They just appeal to two different kind of agents that have different needs and focus. The sales per agent at REMAX is much higher than Real at this point in time. So I think that leads me to believe that they have hired a lot of brand new people, because when you're new, you're not selling 10 houses a year or 20 houses a year.
And maybe the focus is different. It's more downlines than it is.
Yeah, and see, that's right. When you have a business like this, my argument against it had been, you're a real estate agent. Anytime you're spending away from it, like if Stephanie Vitacco spent, 4 hours a day calling other agents to try to convince them to come join her team, that's 4 hours that she's not serving her clients.
Why isn't it the other way around? Why isn't REMAX buying Real, and why is Real buying REMAX?
Yeah, that's a great point, because REMAX is quite a bit larger than Real. Real, by the fact that they do receive commissions, so they are a real estate company, and as I said, REMAX is a franchise company. They are growing very quickly. The growth rate of REMAX has slowed down to very, very slow growth rate. And every company reaches critical mass. So at some point in time, your growth rate, when you have 10,000 agents to get to 20,000 is you're adding 10,000. For REMAX to go from 146,000 to 200,000, percentage-wise is less, but that's a big number. So I think there's a few things at play. First of all is the fact that the founders are 80 years old, Dave and Gail. So there's probably some desire to have an exit strategy for them.
Sure.
I think also REMAX has where all the Anywhere brands is carrying some debt, and I think they were trying to do what they thought was best for their shareholders by finding a new way forward. By combining, maybe we'll get shared technology, and this will be a better way. I can't speak for Eric Carlson. I haven't spoke to him yet. I do. One of my Gold Nation members is supposed to be talking to him today. I haven't discovered what the outcome of that conversation was, but I don't know if that answers your question.
I respect that a lot, Keith. Like I respect your attitude and your leadership in all of this. I think it shows to your character, and it shows why these agents trust you.
Right.
Because here you are saying, it takes humility to say, guys, I wish I would have been in that boardroom and maybe said a few things,
Right.
But I wasn't, and we're here, and this is the way forward.
That's right. Looking back, I wish I had more information. I wish I would understand the reasons why and what's behind it. I don't yet. I am drawing conclusions based on the actions of others and what I'm reading and what makes sense, that you don't spend $880 million buying the number one brand in the world, most trusted agents, most productive agent in the world, the most global brand in 120 countries, to kill the brand. That would be silly. And the meshing of those would be so sloppy. If that's what they wanted to do, they should have bought a company that was not franchise-based, like Berkshire Hathaway.
Right.
Because then they get access to all their data. They get it's easy to flow that through. They could just change the model.
So then
still would be clunky, but
so then are you saying, okay, is another way to understand this the following? The leadership brought REMAX to this point. The vision was, let's get here, and if we get here, oh my goodness, like we've accomplished, we've made it. We're the most recognized brand in the entire world when it comes to real estate.
Yeah.
Okay. But then it's like, we did it. We're there. So now you're saying, is it the way to say it? Real comes, it's like, hey, there is another level. I know maybe not currently seeing it right now, but this is why we're interested in this, because we're going to take it up there. Is that kind of another way to see it?
That's what it appears to me. It's conjecture on both of our points. If I had gone back a couple of years, I'd say no way. I think Leonard's gonna, he's gonna die with this. And he's never gonna let his baby go, even though he had ceded running the company more than 10 years ago to various CEOs that have been there. By the way, our leadership team that's been assembled over the last year there is the best it's ever been. It's amazing. So I trust that they're going to keep, if not all of them, most of them, because again, they're running, two different things. They're running a Starbucks and a Del Taco. I mean, it's almost different industries.
I know, but if you, because in the beginning it's all like, okay, we're trying to understand it, but if you try to look 10 years from now, is it going to look more? Because right now it's like, hey, we're going to be the real REMAX, right, or group, or whatever it is. What are those things, do you think, that Real is saying, and these are the things, 1, 2, 3, that are going to take us to that next level? Is it technology? Is it these new systems? Like, what is it? What do you think it is?
So that's what's been said so far, that they're going to bring their technology. They've got a platform with a cool dashboard. We've been digging into it and get as much information as we can. Called Reason, REZEN, I think they pronounce it Reason. And there's some really cool aspects to that. So they're saying they're going to be able to do that. They're earmarking, they believe, somewhere around $30 million in annual efficiencies that they're going to be able to squeeze out of it. I don't know if they're going to share, they're going to combine accounting and legal and HR and some of those things. So there'll be some efficiencies, but they're going to need operators. They're going to need a leadership team. They're going to need boots on the ground to continue to sell franchises, I would think. I think they want to continue to run that model. So we will see what the end game is. But if I were Tamir Poleg, I would say, I want to make REMAX better REMAX, the best REMAX. And I want to make Real, the best virtual model. And honestly, I don't care who wins, because both I win. I own them both. He doesn't personally own all of them, but he is the controlling interest on all of these. So That's what I would do. That's what I believe he's doing. But time will tell. Here's what I'd say though: is could my agents go there? Yeah, but they can go to, you name the company today. As I mentioned, there's 100 companies that they could pick to go to today. So I can't make myself crazy. I just have to wake up every morning, center myself, and decide each and every day to discover new and better ways to serve my agents. I need to be able to, as Wayne Gretzky says, I need to skate to where the puck is going.
Yeah.
I need to be enough of a visionary that I see that there's transition happening. And oh, by the way, every industry in America and the world is changing and changing in the rapid pace of change. It's parabolic. It's going crazy. And our business is going to go through some changes that we don't even know yet. With agentic AI and artificial general intelligence at some point in time, robots. Tesla stopped making the S and the X because they're going to build the I think it's the Optimus robot out of there, and Elon says that the world is going to be so productive that there's going to be universal high income. You won't have to work.
You won't have to work.
All these young people, it's what they've been hoping for.
They were right. They were right all along.
Yeah. So I envision a world in which we're going to do a better job of anticipating what consumer wants, being able to more speedily find the homes that fit their needs that may or may not be on the market, and a better, efficient way to communicate that to that prospect faster than writing a little note or going over and knocking on the door or finding their email or phone number and contact. There's got to be some efficiencies there. The real estate processor has to get faster, cleaner, safer, and frankly cheaper. And I think they're going to continue to make it easier to sell. Right now, if you talk to a seller who's thinking about selling or even a buyer, the process seems to be a big deal. It's one of the barriers of keeping people from moving is it's not
easy process.
It's not any easier than it was 10 or 20 years ago. In many ways, it's clunkier because in the attempt to be transparent and provide
more paperwork,
information,
more processes,
I mean, there's
more steps in the process.
There's so many more pages of disclosures and that sort of thing. With the end in mind was to be transparent to a buyer, to give them as much information they can make an informed decision. But in doing so, sometimes that's just slows down the process.
Right.
The title searching business still is a little antiquated, the whole escrow process. So anyways, it's an exciting time for real estate. It's an exciting time for REMAX broker owner and agents to see what's going to happen.
Well, because this is happening, Keith, right now. This isn't happening in 2021 where everybody's, happy-go-lucky and there's a whole bunch to go around.
Right.
This is happening in 2026 where last I checked, a lot of realtors are struggling.
Yeah.
Like a lot of realtors are struggling.
Yeah.
So this is the climate now for when all these changes are happening. So I think agents are asking themselves like where exactly what this question right now about what consumers are asking, how can I make this process easier? I think the same question realtors are asking, how can we make this process easier?
Absolutely. I get it all the time. Yeah. Agents are like everybody else to an extent. We're kind of lazy. We want to do what we want to do. We don't want to do all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Even like learning a software, learning a new CRM, learning a new method of doing marketing. I want you to do it for me. Mm-hmm. Do it for me. No, by the way, I don't want to pay for it either. Mm-hmm. So that's where it becomes difficult for us. Do we invest in these ways to help our agents, or do we go to the next level? And we're kind of doing that now. We're seeing the future to try to provide those services to help people. Because for me, as we use Stephanie as an example, the highest best use of her time is those 300 a year listing appointments, right? Mm-hmm. The highest and best use of my time is have my agents out there going on listing appointments or showing property and negotiating, maybe not even negotiating contracts. Maybe, we can provide something there. But that's the thing. So anything we can do to streamline their process, make it easier, safer, more compliant.
Yeah. the better.
We're going to keep working on that.
I know you had also said something about, because I think you posted something, and that's kind of what it was like, hey, I have no idea what's going on. Come to the studio and please explain it.
Yeah.
You said, hey guys, something's going on with Real REMAX, but then you threw another, and then you said Zillow. Yeah. Okay, then I'm like, what is that? Like, that's, so what is that? What is the thing with all those three? Well, just a few years
ago, stepping back, so there's been a battle between Compass and the president there, CEO Robert Refkin, and Zillow about posting private listings and things like that. There's something called clear cooperation handed down from National Association of Realtors that within 48 hours of marketing a property to the consumer,
taking a listing, or is it 48 hours within signing a listing, or
actually 24 hours? 1 day of publicly marketing. So I could list it, and I could have an exclusive, and I could, as long as it's in writing, have the permission of the seller not to put it into MLS yet. While maybe they're painting, and we're just getting ready, doing the photography, having your guys out there. But once you start putting it out there, it's on the internet, or you place a sign or doing that stuff, 24 hours, we have to have it in, or we could be subject to fine. And the purpose behind that is, in the old days, agents would just hang on to their stuff because they...
the longer they have it...
In the pre-commission days, you'd list a house for 6%.
You double
and if I could do the whole thing, I get 6%. If I have to share it, I get half.
Yeah.
So... so that's changed, and
the Zillow thing.
Yeah, the Zillow, yeah. So Compass made a deal with Redfin to try to have a platform to maybe do some sharing of their private listings.
Compete a bit with
that.
Zillow.
That won't be an MLS, yeah. So I think a lot of the other companies started looking, and so REMAX was the first one. They decided, well, if we're going to create a relationship with somebody to aggregate data, we should, I guess, go to the biggest one.
Top, yeah.
Who has the most eyeballs?
Okay. Yeah.
It's Zillow.
Yeah.
So they did two things: establish a partnership with them to allow us to do something called Zillow Previews, which is you can load directly into Zillow and exclude from MLS, not have it coming soon or active, and have it directly with Zillow.
Wow. Wait. You're saying without putting it on the MLS?
Without putting it in MLS.
Really?
But with clear cooperation, you can only do it for 24 hours. So its value is very limited.
Oh, I see.
And this is, MLSs and the boards and the National Association and the California Association, there's a lot of stuff going on there, a lot of change, a lot of pressures to do different things. So I could see maybe that gets extended to 3 days or something.
But then isn't that, Keith, though, isn't that ultimately like not beneficial for the consumer?
Bingo. So I'm, my degree's in marketing, so I firmly believe that you expose your property to the vast number of people.
To more people, you're going to get more money.
The only thing that would be an advantage of that is just to get a little pre-launch, and then roll it into maybe coming soon and then active. Yeah, but I don't know.
And then my also another thing like that I have against that is it just feels like every time realtors give Zillow something, they take it, and then a few years later they slap you in the face with it because they're like, "Hey, guess what? We're going to change everything up, and now we're going to get you out of the game."
Yeah, we've always been a little bit suspect of Zillow, and
It feels like that because even now for me, okay, so we started off doing what we do, the photography for the properties. So we built relationships with different realtors around our area. Okay, at this point, I think we've worked with about 3,000 agents. Okay, about 3,000 agents in this whole 15 years.
Yeah,
and it's just been referrals, right? I've never invested in ads. I don't really do that for this business.
Yeah.
It's all referrals.
Yeah.
So then I work with this person, and then now I've been having a relationship with this person for 10, 15 years. Now they say, hey, you know what? I wish we could use you, but we can't because Zillow has their own Zillow thing.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. That's part two. So the Zillow previews is one thing. It's benefit. Oh, the benefit is while it's in this preview status, the agent's name is really big, and they click on their name, and not the Zillow agent.
You're the only one
So they're going to capture leads fee-free. And if they do click on the Zillow agent, because it'll still be there, but not as easy to find and obvious as in a typical situation, and that Zillow agent that pays for those leads sells that lead a house, any house, not this house, any house, could be this house, could be any house, and closes within 90 days, our listing agent gets 10% of that commission.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's
cool.
kind of, that's like, oh, that'd be kind of cool.
No, that is cool. It just, for me, I've, for the time that I've been here in the real estate industry, I've seen that every time something happens with Zillow, years later, it's like, man, we just fed the enemy for years. But
so that second part is what you're talking about, how it affects you. It's called Zillow Showcase.
The Showcase, yeah.
So to do a Zillow Showcase, you pay $150, and it runs for 7 days. You get better placement.
Right.
You get larger photos. Your name as an agent, again, is prominently there. Presented, and you can have a little bio on yourself, so it's much more sticky, and you should get the leads.
Right.
But to do that, you have to either use a Zillow-approved photographer, which you might as well go do that.
Yeah, we're in the process of doing that.
Or you need to have their only one of only 2 cameras. Now you have cameras that'll do what they want, but it's 2 different Ricoh models of cameras. So you could buy that. I think you said you have it.
Yeah.
And then
that's for the 3D.
For the Zillow Showcase, for the 3D, right? So then the photographer is taught how they do it, and you directly will put it into Zillow.
Right.
Instead, now you send it to me, the agent, then I download it to MLS, and then through IDX it gets sucked to Zillow. Well, in Showcase, for 7 days, it'll be bigger photos. We'll have some movement.
I've seen it. It looks really nice.
It looks good,
Yeah, I've seen it. It looks really nice.
We're just testing that now. Rachel Reese, she had an existing listing that had kind of gone stale, and she said, I'm just going to go directly to the approved person because I don't know anything yet.
Sure.
So she picked someone, and he took the pictures and loaded it in, and she went from having one person at an open house Sunday to the following Sunday, she got 8 people in and a couple of things.
Today's day and age, that's really good.
It's increasing probably calls and stuff. So we'll see how effective that is. So that's the Zillow partnership.
And I think that's what you're saying, because in a world that is constantly changing, what you're saying is it is not wise to shrink back and be like, I'm going to be sus, because we are pretty suspicious of it, but it's not like we're going to be like, all right, let it completely go, because then you're missing out on the benefits, but it's just constantly moving. And I think what really wins here and always is relationship.
Relationships, yeah.
Relationship. You have the relationship, you will have it. And what does that mean? That's work, right? That's following up. That's staying in front of people. That's investing in your brand. That's all, that's being there, doing the calls, doing all the stuff that you're saying before. That's hard. Like that's the hard stuff. But as long as we keep doing that, we have the relationship, no matter what changes come, that's the best way to position yourself to prosper, to succeed.
Yeah. I mean, if we can use tools in order to build better relationships or free up time so we can take people to coffee or, old school stuff, but powered by all these other things I got to do. Like right now, if I'm sitting here, I know I'm getting emails like crazy. Yeah. The emails are the bane of my existence. But, like I'm a lot of people.
Do you AI any of that stuff?
No, but I'm discovering that you can. Anthropic Claude is like, really good at it.
Never.
So I'm testing some of this.
Anything.
I know. I got to be careful, but I do use it. It's amazing. What supplements are best for longevity and cognition? And athletic performance. Oh, okay, methylene blue and whatever. But awesome. So I can see that's going to continue to grow in value for agents. I don't think we're going to be replaced anytime soon, because there is that human element of taking them through and pointing 100%. Out the things of the house and guiding through the process. Yeah. But I think that we can be a lot more efficient, and we're going to get there and make 100%. The process a lot better. And I plan on leading from the front on that with the help of some talented people.
That's awesome, Keith. That's awesome. So thank you for coming. And I think this was I understand now kind of where everything is at. How you're thank you for sharing how you're processing all of this. And at the end of the day, it's exactly what we're saying. Grow as a leader. Do the hard things, because those are the things that nobody's going to be able to take away from you. No one's ever going to be able to take away who you've become. Right. No one's at the leadership. As you grow as a leader, the systems that you implement into your business, you might have to modify because times change. But at the end of the day, those are the things that are going to make you be successful, and not necessarily what's posted on the wall.
Yeah. And it's not a straight line. You're going to go like this. All right? My career, you know, not everything I've ever done has been a home run. But you need to keep trying. You need to stay in the game. You need to keep taking at bats. And the more you do, and as an agent, same thing. Don't get down, get smart. Set your schedule. Demand excellence out of yourself. Find the right way. Stay curious. Find the right place for you. We're talking about choices between Real and REMAX. There's so many choices. Not every company is right for every agent, and not every agent is right for every company. So I would say if you're an agent out there and you're not happy where you are, call me. But first, go talk to your broker owner and say, this is what I'm not happy with. Let them see if there's a solution. The worst thing that ever happens to people like me is someone that I love and adore and work with me a long time, I discover in an email from the DRA saying, George Jones is no longer under your license. I go, you didn't even call me. Now, fortunately, it doesn't happen very often, but
I know that stings a lot to you, broker owners, man. Like I know that stings a lot.
And then you find out, you call and find out, yeah, well, I went because they have Shiny Penny. I go, we have Shiny Penny.
Yeah, we have.
You weren't paying attention. I've been talking about it. Come on.
I find that out because the same thing happens to me. Like I'll be on Facebook and be like, did we take these photos? We didn't. Come on. They've been working with us for years. What did we do? You know, I understand your pain because I sometimes feel it myself.
Yeah.
But then
love your photographer.
But then what do you do? You say you can either, quit and be like, oh man, poor me, or you could reinvent yourself and say, well, what is it that other people are offering? What is it that I'm not doing? What is it that my company's not doing? Are we falling short? Or is that person really annoying and, good thing that they left because they were bringing me a lot of stress, so.
Yeah. And sometimes that's the case. And, usually I do both. I do say poor me for about 10 seconds and then I go, okay, how do we fix it? Where can we get better? Yeah. And there are times where there's companies that are doing something that's tickling the ears and causing people to go there. But then I have to look, I go, but is it effective? Yeah. Back in the old days, we used to run ads in the paper more to placate our sellers than to really get calls because they had run out their value. So we'd put Daily News, LA Times, Ventura County Star. They had big real estate sections every weekend, and it was expensive to advertise in there. And their efficacy had run its course. It was no longer really helpful. But we would say, hey, look, I had it in the LA Times, it didn't sell. You must be priced. So do you want to reduce 10,000 or should we go the full Monty and go to 25,000?
Yeah, exactly.
It just, Anyway, it's a great business. I love it. Yeah. A lot of great people, a lot of great relationships. Yes, sir. And,
yes, sir.
I hope to be doing this for many years.
Come on, man.
I got no other hobbies. I don't hunt or fish or golf very good. So real estate, baby.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Thanks for coming, Keith.
Thanks, Pablo.